The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hi, everybody. It's Betty Ray. Thank you for coming to my channel. I found out the other day when I was shopping at a flea market I've never been to before that there was somebody there who had tuned into my show. What a pleasant surprise that was. Because when I'm doing this, unless you give me a comment, I have no idea who is listening and who is not. So thank you for tuning into my channel. Do subscribe, do tell people about it, and do ask questions on this thing. You can ask me questions and I will answer them. And today's topic, and we're a little late getting started because Mercury's retrograde, and I think that's what's going on. And don't even ask what it is if you don't know. Look it up. And sometimes communication breaks down, and that's kind of what's happened. I couldn't get on the show. So I'm going to look at chapter 10 in Raphael's new book. Here we go. And there we are. Ask Raphael. You can get it on Amazon.com and you go to Betty Ray and Ask Raphael. All right, so today is, let's show you the picture. How can I be happy when ... question mark. Well, there's a million answers to that. When I'm in terrible pain, when my loved one has left me or died, when there's 100 different things, when I can't find a job. There are so many different things that can keep you from having your needs met. And people talk about prosperity and abundance and how to create and so on. Well, I hate to tell you, but you're a human being and you have a spirit and a soul inside your physical body. And sometimes, according to the atmosphere of the planets, because we all have strings attached to certain planets, there's all kinds of energy vibrations that are beaming in on us. And because of your star sign, you will find that you have different things than I might have. So how can I be happy? That's what it is. How can I be happy when? Now, a long time ago, Raphael had me do this little thing, 30 Days to Happiness, and it's still available. It's just a little thing I put together. Each day is a way of showing how to be happy. Let me turn this page here. So day one, let me see, put it up here. I will put a guard on my mind. Wow. Do you have no idea how important that is? Thoughts are filtering through your brain and going out the other ear every single day. You pick up on thoughts of people around you. And when you tune in, you go, what the heck was I thinking about that for? Because you picked up on somebody else. And sometimes you get communication from somebody else when you tune in to what your head is doing. And so it is wise for you, excuse me, it is wise for you to listen to your thoughts, but it is also wise for you to learn to calm your mind and put a guard on it. So if it's something negative, and the thing I find with a lot of souls that I communicate with is that they want to help people. They want to be of service. But sometimes they're doing things for that person that is not for their highest good because we don't know what their soul's purpose is. That's a great big question mark. So when you are inspired to give money to somebody, if it's a charitable cause, go ahead and do it. But if you're helping out a family member and you've been giving out, this has been going off the palm for quite a while, you maybe need to rethink that. because you're what's called enabling. I'm sure you heard of that before. When they become dependent upon you for that little handout that you give, they don't allow their soul to inspire them with ways they can generate money. And that's what it's all about. The soul is learning how to be a co creator with God. And if you're doing the creating for them, they're never going to learn. And so that's one of the things. So keep a guard on your mind. So these people that often green souls, as I call them, if you aren't familiar with that, well, I've got other books out there. And if you get the Ask Raphael book, it's all in there as well. It tells you what each soul color or vibration, because energy, everything is energy, and it's color, vibration, and sound. And so when you look at what it is you are supposed to do each day, then you get into take a deep breath and get into a meditative state and call upon your angels and guides to help you become aware of the best way for you to follow the inspiration that God sends to you. And everybody gets inspiration. Everybody is creative. That doesn't mean that you're going to be an artist someday, but it does mean creative problem solving. And sometimes you have to open your mind and heart and soul to the divine plan for your life. If you don't like the way it's going, then perhaps there's some choices that you made that sent you down an alleyway that wasn't very good. And that would be for anybody that tries drugs to escape, or it might be for anybody that is trapped in a relationship that they feel they can't get out of. It can be debilitating. And so especially with the pandemic, people have lost their jobs and they're living with somebody who has money coming in. It's understandable and nobody is judging you. That's a key thing to remember. No matter what's going on, even the evildoers, if you want to call it that, are not judged by God because you've taken on this mantle of the physical body and the mind that has to seek ways to keep the physical body happy. And that means sometimes that you may infringe on other people to make you happy. But in reality, no one can make you happy. And so we're going to read a little bit from chapter 10 in Raphael's book. And it says, how can I be happy when the world is in such a mess? When my loved one just died? When I'm in pain? Or when on and on and on? And Raphael says, we say unto you, raise your consciousness. Okay, I can just about hear you saying, how do I do that? And he says, you can never be completely happy if you always find something or someone who disrupts your view of happiness. When you say, how can I be happy when what? When someone is in your way? When people always challenge your happiness? When people disappoint you, confront you, argue with you, or betray you? Your purpose while in this world is to rediscover God through people. You didn't know that, I'll bet. Yes, you cannot escape the interaction of people. It is part of the game. And so, as you come to know love and service to humanity, you will find the indwelling of divinity within yourself. To do this, you must raise your consciousness out of fear and doubt, anxiety and anger into the light of truth to trust in your own dear self and God. We speak of raising your emotional energy tank out of the emptiness of negative emotions and into positive, mindful energy vibrations. How do you do that? I'm hearing. And he goes on, spiritual consciousness reflects your soul's level of awareness of God's laws. Obviously, beginner souls have little knowledge of any laws. They can only learn of them when they break a law and experience an uncomfortable response. If they knowingly break a law and do not receive consequences, they will continue to break laws. Only from a moment to moment conscious awareness to connect the act with the experience of an uncomfortable result can the soul learn how to navigate within a physical world filled with laws. I have no idea how many laws are on the book, but I'll bet there are billions of them. We don't even know some of them. And some of them are so antiquated that nobody pays attention to them anymore. But we have lots of laws. Now, he says, here you are, dear reader, on your planet where you cannot escape the lower levels of emotions. Even after having had many lifetimes of consciousness training, you may still have anxieties and doubts and fears that crop up to muddy your perception of life on Earth. These are your challenges to living a happy life. By simply recognizing your fears with the determination to eliminate them, I'm going to repeat that. By simply recognizing your fears with the determination to eliminate them, you will raise your consciousness into peace and joy. And believe me, it's heaven. When you can let go of self doubt and self deprecation, putting yourself down, oh, I can't do that, that kind of thinking, when you can get rid of that and you say, if I get the idea, that means I'm supposed to be able to take care of it. But if you get some off the wall kind of thing that if you practice prosperity and abundance, if you put your car that you want to buy on the refrigerator, but you don't bother getting a job, and you're kind of screwed. Anyway, it isn't just wishing for it. This is not how it works on planet Earth. You get the idea, you follow that idea until it comes to a dead end, and then you get another idea and you go in that direction. There's constant communication between you and your angels, and it comes as an abstract idea. Don't expect somebody to whisper in your ear and say, okay, take this job. But you can find signs and symbols that will help. And many people use cards, tarot cards, and or different inspirational decks of cards to help them make a decision. But even then, you need to realize that you are the one responsible for the decision. And if it doesn't work out, then it's like, okay, well, we'll just have to try something else. Rather than being angry or upset because it didn't materialize the way you thought it would, realize that you need to step back and you need to look at what it is you desire to create. And then I wait for an inspiration to follow through. And it will always come, dear ones. It will always come. So he goes on to say, imagine you could take a consciousness browser. Oops. No, sorry, I didn't say that right. A consciousness shower. When you wash out the grid of fear and doubt from your mind and emotions, you will automatically raise your spirit consciousness. You will sparkle with a new awareness of eternal love. You will begin to glow. Your light will inspire others to watch their gritty concepts too. Sooner rather than later, the raising of consciousness will spill over into your personal world of family and friends, much like the story of the 100th monkey. Now, I probably shouldn't have said that, but the 100th monkey I've spoken of before, but just a quick review. A long time ago in the 50s, the Japanese scientists did a study of the monkeys on two separate islands, and they gave sweet potatoes. They would row from their big boat with a bunch of sweet potatoes and dump it in the sand. And then they would go over into the other island and dump sweet potatoes in the sand. Well, the story goes that one little monkey washed his sweet potatoes of the grit and grime, and then another one washed it the next time, and then 3, 4. And before he knew it, all of the monkeys on that island were washing their sweet potatoes. And miracle of miracles, suddenly all the monkeys on the other island with no way to get together, they started washing it. It's called quantum physics. What one idea can carry through the world and inspire other people. So pay attention. Raising of consciousness has only to do with letting go of your fears and anxieties. And so, if you're thinking about someone you love because you're anxious about them, they need money, they need whatever they need, and their needs aren't being met. If you are asking for help out of anxiety and fear for them, you are sending them negative energy, and it's only going to pull them down. It's heavy. And so, when you send them energy, imagine it's just a whole bunch of angels that they're creating them to levitate and to rise up into a sense of joy. So inspiration will come zapping one way after another, because only in a sense of joy can you create the love that is God. It's an important part. And so many people, and that seems to be a chronic illness, is depression. That means that your energy is down in the puddle of dirt. You're way down and you can't seem to raise yourself out of it. Then that's when you raise your consciousness and start thinking joyful thoughts. Start thinking about how God loves you. No matter what's going on, God never, ever, ever punishes you. But you have chosen to suffer, or you've chosen to have a loved one pass on. It isn't that you've chosen, and I take that back. You're in a situation where that happens. So it's part of life. Everybody has to exit the highway of life sooner or later. But it's really hard when you have a loved one go. So the older you get, believe me, the more are leaving the planet. So be at peace, dear ones. Look at all the things that are good in your life and focus on them. Now, so you're going to take a consciousness shower and you're going to rinse all of the fear and anxiety and anything that is keeping you from being a sunshine to all the people in the world. And so, negative people will either raise their consciousness, this is Raphael talking, to become brighter, happier individuals, or they will seem to fade from your life. And soon, your light will spread throughout the world and you will see people awakening all over the globe. Kind of reminds me, I think it's Paramount, that when you see it, there's the Paramount sign that comes around the globe, and then the earth seems to be lit on fire, but not fire as fire consumes, but light. Every individual is lighting up. I love that demonstration because it's what happens. When the light radiates from you, it's contagious. It's a good kind of contagion. It's not like a virus. It's a wonderful contagion in that you begin to think positive. You begin to look for the joy in your life because if you look, you're going to find it. Even if it's just sitting in the nature and seeing a squirrel pick up some peanuts that you've left for him, that's a joy. Okay, so here we go. Raphael says when you raise your consciousness wider so you can begin to see the bigger picture, many good things start to happen. He says your intuition sharpens as you become aware of your soul sending new ideas for solving everyday problems. Inner visions supply you with ideas where your welfare is concerned. When your body needs to be healthy, for example, you develop a sense of knowing how to live a happier, more joy filled life. You will increase your awareness of the subtle energies around you and others. You will stay balanced during stressful times. That's really important. You will have an increased awareness of your soul's purpose for your life. I always say, when you can become aware that the soul has a story to tell, that it created before you were even born, and your soul, actually chose the DNA that you would have from your parents, so you could be male or female, so that you could be tall or short. All of that is chosen by your soul as the leading man or leading lady in the story it wants to create on planet Earth. There's such an amazing order to the universe. And when you begin to accept that and think that, well, that just bad thing just happened to me. No. And even though today I couldn't get on the show, that's not a bad thing. That's Mercury retrograde. When Mercury retrograde, sometimes communication breaks down. And apparently, one of the people who's supposed to be able to get me on the show wasn't doing it. And we had to get somebody else to help and get me on the show. So it's going to be a shorter show than normal, but let's go on. Inner visions supply you with ideas where your welfare is concerned, what your body needs to be healthy, for example. You develop a sense of knowing how to live a happier, more joy filled life. You will increase your awareness of the subtle energies around you and others. You will stay balanced during stressful times. You will have an increased awareness of your soul's purpose for your life. You will have a driving need to increase beauty and goodness in your life by beautifying your mind and your surroundings. Let's see if I got any more there. Oh, yeah, there's more. Okay. You will experience a great thirst for knowledge and be led to find answers to long held questions. A higher sense of integrity will grow within you. It will not allow you to be dishonest with anyone in any way. especially with yourself. You will increase your sense of compassion and tolerance toward others, making it easier to accept them exactly as they are without trying to change them, thus making detachment easier and confrontations less frequent. Thank you, Johnny, for joining us. She says her positive outlook has changed her life. She is so much better than she has been in years. Oh, there you are. You've gone through so much in your life, and now it looks like you've come out on the other side and just thinking positive. Oh, that's so glad that you shared that with us. Thank you for joining us. Okay, it does change your life when you begin to have a positive outlook on your life instead of condemning what people are doing to you, because nobody can do anything to you without you accepting that that is what they are doing. It's your choice of how you react to other people. That's your free will. And if you let other people dominate and put you down, well, enjoy the ride, because that's what you will experience in this life, not only from somebody who's close to you, but from people all around you until you're fed up with it and you say, I'm going to do what's best for me from now on. And all of heaven rejoices. Yay! Okay, so here's some more things. You will have an increased confidence in decision making that will lead to better choices with results that are more of your choosing. Yeah, when you make a choice out of love, out of compassion, out of joy, it can only bring you wonderful experiences. But if you make a choice out of fear that if you don't do it, something bad's going to happen, then something bad usually happens because you programmed it into that thinking. So, other good things that can happen: relations will either strengthen or dissolve, and your energy will increase, giving you time to do more things of your choosing. Wouldn't that be nice? Now, he goes on to say scientists continue to study where consciousness resides within the human body. They conduct brain research and look everywhere. They will not find it because your consciousness resides with your invisible spirit. Sometimes scientists are reluctantly coming to that conclusion. It will begin the merging of science with the non physical worlds. In fact, it has already begun. Throughout this book, we have been presenting a picture of you in bits and pieces, like a huge jigsaw puzzle of how, as humans, you navigate within a complex, time trapped world. We ask you to bear with us on our new conceptual ride as we describe those invisible, amazing, powerful, life changing energy orbs of light residing right within your physical and spirit bodies. You have no idea how beautiful and magnificent you are. Don't ever put yourself down or let anyone else say something negative about you. Stand on your 2 feet and say, no, I don't accept that. Okay, going on, he says, we describe these orbs of light earlier in chapter 6. They are also the receptors of your consciousness. When they are bright and polished, you are as well. When they are depleted and dull, so too are you. So, with this knowledge, perhaps not new to many of you, but hopefully with a different perspective and a greater respect for your vehicle of expression, your physical body, you may more easily awaken to your spirit with a sense of inner peace and joy, thus raising your consciousness into an advanced awareness from an eagle's eye view. So, dear friends, there's so much wisdom in this book. We really ask you to support this work of Raphael and to buy a couple of copies of it and give it away, and then have a study group and read it. And don't hesitate to email me at angelbettyray@gmail.com. Angelbettyray@gmail.com, because you can actually talk to me if you have a question. I can set up um, I don't know how to do Zoom, but I'm learning. So we could have a Zoom meeting, or you could just put me on your speakerphone if you have more than one people, and I can talk that way. I've done that before. But Raphael always comes through when I ask him. He's always, if you ask for a private reading with Raphael, it's personal to you and to no one else. So it is not ever shared with anyone. I might, in some time in the future, talk about a situation that is just fictional, and you might identify with it, but that doesn't mean I have betrayed your confidence. Please understand that. I would never, ever do that. So don't hesitate to call or to email for a reading. I've got some people waiting in line to schedule one, so I'm a little behind. But do call, do come and ask Raphael what it is you need to know to be your happiest self. And again, when you get this book, day one is put a guard on your mind. Pay attention to what you're thinking. And if you're thinking negative, fearful, anxious thoughts, just wipe the slate clean and say, no, get out of here. I don't want to think those thoughts. So, day two says, I will find good in all I see and do. I won't criticize myself. I know that I'm doing the very best I can in each moment, and each decision is based on what went before. And so I'm learning. And believe me, I'm going to be 87, and I'm still learning, dear friends. I am always learning because your physical body is here to do just that, to learn about the physical world, to be an explorer of your physical world and the emotions and the physical nuances within your body. That how do you get messages from your soul and your angels? That's all stuff you're learning. And so that you get better and better at it as you keep coming back. And believe me, you're going to keep coming back. It's not a matter of I have to come back. Oh my God, I don't want to come back. No, it's a matter of your soul saying, I want to write another story. And this time I'm going to overcome that addiction. And so you write the story and you put out your main character, male or female. You know what genes you want it to have. And and you come back and you tell another story. Souls love telling stories on earth. I've said this before. If you can imagine your favorite author, who's probably written hundreds of books, do you think he's going to stop or she's going to stop writing books because she's reached the 100th mark? I don't think so. Because it's so much fun to tell a story and to factor into the free will thing. So your main character could go off an entirely different direction and you can't stop it. You can only stand by and see what happens. So be at peace. Find the good in all you see and do. And then day three says, I will seek new knowledge. You must realize that your soul is here to seek knowledge. And the knowledge that you gain, be it your emotions, be it your physical surroundings, whatever it is, that knowledge that you gain gives you more wisdom. And as you grow in wisdom, your soul can do much more in the physical world. So day four says, I will listen more and talk less. Ooh, I have run into some people that once you open the door, that mouth never stops. Would they find somebody that's a compassionate listener? Oh my. But you have to learn how to say, I'm sorry, but I have an appointment, and usher them out the door. Because it is not for you to be a sounding board for somebody who just wants to hear themselves talk. It's not for you to do that. Okay, Johnny says, I am writing a story to my new granddaughter, telling her my story. I am learning as so much as I go. Oh, how wonderful, new granddaughter. Isn't that great? Thank you, Johnny, for sharing with us. I hope you are also writing because you're a beautiful writer. I do remember way back in junior high, you were a really creative writer. So I hope you're going to have like memoirs that you're going to leave with your granddaughter. So everybody, if you would do that, boy, you would wake up so much faster. You would say, oh my gosh, have I actually been doing a stupid thing like that? And then okay, I'm going to New Year's resolution or a new day resolution because you don't have to wait till New Year's. You do it. So yes, it is very good. Now, here's a day where I will remain silent all day. That's really hard. It is really hard. And it means that you can't sit down on the phone and have a chat with somebody. You can text them, maybe. That's kind of cheating too. You can text them and say, I am remaining silent this day. I will call you back tomorrow. But it's a good exercise. And then day 6, I will learn to breathe deeply and focus on relaxing my body this day. Abdominal breathing that goes way down to your gut is the most cleansing, healing breath. And this is why yoga is so popular, because the whole thing about yoga, as my friend tells me, is the breath. When you learn to use the breath to get yourself into a state of meditation, it's amazing the things that you will feel and the new things that you will learn. So we suggest you meditate at least a half hour each day, that you get quiet, you just concentrate on breathing and relaxing your body. If you do nothing more than that, not letting thoughts come into your head, it's like, those little slide projectors they used to have was like little binoculars. Well, if the thought comes in, just shove it out with a beautiful thought in nature. Just that pushes that out and a new thought is in. And she does do that. Yes, it's the way to do it. Okay. So the next one is focusing on relaxing the body. That's really important every day. And day 7 is I will overcome doubt that happiness is within my reach. Happiness is within your reach every day when you turn away from the darkness of fear and anxiety and you begin to see and rejoice in the good that has come into your life, in the people that support you and love you. And even if you've been betrayed by a dear friend, that is likely the end of that relationship, and it wouldn't have happened if that person hadn't said, "This is the end." You would have had so much compassion and understanding, you'd continue to put up with whatever it was that this person was unhappy about. So even though friends come and go, that is a divine plan, and we accept that. So I will overcome doubt that happiness is within my reach. Day 8, this day I will pay close attention to my mood. Whew, to my mood. That emotional barometer can climb up into joy for 1 minute. You might see a beautiful scene in nature and you'll feel that joy. And then the next minute you're thinking about the checkbook and you haven't balanced it. Boom, down you go. So if you could blend those two things, if you could go and sit in nature while you're balancing the checkbook, maybe you would find a clear headedness that will help you to pay all your bills on time and not worry. I know there's jobs out there now because the pandemic is winding down. Okay, so the next day, day 9, I will look at my enemies and thank them for helping me find the enemy within myself. Oftentimes, we fear somebody putting us down, or we fear that we're going to make a mistake and somebody's going to laugh at us, or we fear we can't do what it is we set out to do. It's way beyond our possibilities. All of those anxieties and fears are taking you into the negative polarity of the planet. And what you've got to do is you've just got to wash that away. Like the ocean comes up and it washes it right away, and the sun comes out. Use your playful imagination to change your mood. Use your playful imagination. That's what Jesus said when he said, "Unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven." And of course, his apostles said, "Well, I can't go back to my young age. What do you mean?" And Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is right within you, and you create it each moment of your life." And I'm telling you, at my age, I still have a playfulness. I still am writing. I'm still doing many, many creative things because there's no limit to what we can do on this planet. There's no limit when we have the joy and the courage to take an idea that we've been given and to run with it. So look my enemies in the face and thank them for helping me find the enemy within myself. And it's usually an enemy of doubt and self-deprecation. Now, day 10, I will rejoice this day that I have traveled 1/3 of the way to happiness. So, if you are doing this little booklet that I have here, you will find that you do get half a third of the way through, and it makes a big difference. And then day 11, this day I will do something special for myself. Doesn't mean spending money. You got to keep that in your mind. Okay, day 12, I accept all that happens to me this day as a result of my choices and as a result of my angels helping me to grow for my highest and greatest good. The bad things that happened aren't always bad, they're revelational, and they help you to raise your consciousness. So don't condemn things that you might get. Okay, so day 13, there we go, is I choose to see my luck as getting better and better each day. So there you go. You have an attitude, oh, I'm in a bad luck spin or something. Then you're creating it because you've accepted it. But if you don't accept it, you say, well, my luck's going to change any day now. But if you're buying lottery tickets, people, well, yes, it's your free will, but it's really a waste of money. Day 14, I will greet this day with a smile. So if you wake up and you're groggy and you're grumpy because you haven't had your cup of coffee or whatever, when you drink that coffee, say thanks for the coffee. Say thanks for the surroundings that you have. And you will find that your weight of the whatever it is that held you down is disappearing. So you will not allow your mind to dwell on past misfortunes. That's day 15. And then day 16, I will look squarely at each person I meet this day and wish happiness for them. That's something good to do. And day 17, today, I will take notes of my surroundings. This day, I will look for the beauty, the harmony, the smiles, and the laughter around me. I will examine my home for clutter and remove it, making way for a flow of good fortune and blessings in my surroundings. Day 18. This day, I will make a list of 50 things I no longer desire to experience in my life. 50 things? When I was first heard this, I was told to do 100 things. And believe it or not, I could do 100 things that I no longer wish to experience. And believe it or not, also, most of them are no longer in my life. So don't forget to try that. Make a list of 50 things you no longer desire. Sometimes putting things down in writing is a powerful way of making you focus in on what it is you desire to create. So if you keep a journal, you're way ahead of the game. So day 19, this day I will turn my list of 50 things I no longer desire to experience in my life into 50 things I desire to create in my life. Wow, now that's a positive way to look at things. So you kind of have to look at a situation that might mean a person in your life needs to leave. If they're not bringing you happiness, and you either need to leave or they need to leave. Day 20. Today I will, oops, I'm running out of time, aren't I? I got, what, 1 minute? It's gone already because we started late. Well, dear friends, do keep happiness in your mind as something doable. And come back again next Tuesday at noon and visit with us and Raphael. Bye for now.